Each and every Monday is $9 Monday at wagertalk.com. All daily picks packages are priced at only $9, including $40 5% best bets. As an added bonus, all new users will receive $25 in wager bucks credited to their accounts, available for immediate use after their initial $9 Monday purchase. So make sure to take advantage of $9 Mondays at wagertalk.com.
Welcome into the NFL Opening Line Report. I am Drew Martin, joined by Teddy Covers Week 5 NFL. We are breaking it down. Happy Monday morning to you. Huge shout out to the 22,000 people that watched last week. Even more so, the 875 that smashed that like button and the hundreds of people that commented below. Teddy, we are growing. And heck, you are picking some winners here, buddy. Welcome in. Happy Monday morning to you.
Hey, great to be here, Drew. And you know what we do on this show? This is all about taking a look at what happened yesterday closely.
Yeah.
Looking at the look-ahead lines from last week closely. Talking about the power rating numbers, where these teams should be power rated right now. Talk about where the money flow has come initially, what we expect to see later in the week. Talk about the matchups. Talk about the line moves. So we've got 16 games plus a little Monday Night Football to discuss. Let's get into it, Drew. Excited for another loaded edition of the Opening Line.
Absolutely, guys. Each and every Monday, 10 a.m. Pacific time, right here on the Wager Talk YouTube channel. Teddy put it on a tee there, talking about the Monday Nighter tonight. Let's quick hit it, Teddy. We got the Las Vegas Raiders at the LA Chargers, AFC West divisional battle here. Monday night action, -3. That's the Chargers at home in SoFi. I put at home in quotations. I think there's going to be a lot of Raiders fans there, Teddy. We're seeing 51 or 51.5 as the total tonight. Any quick hits on tonight's Monday Night Football?
So I'm passing the game. The line is exactly where I thought it should be. The total, I leaned over tonight, but I definitely had concerns about these two. Both teams are rushing the passer really well. And if we see a game where we're getting field goals, not touchdowns, and 51.5, it's looking a little bit high. From a when do I bet it standpoint, this line is not going off at 3 between now and kickoff. However, we have seen under money so far this morning, sharp under money. So if you like the under, you might want to bet that sooner rather than later. There are still, and again, it varies by the books, but I'm seeing mostly 51.5s out there with a sprinkling of 51s. Might be more 51s and 50.5s by kickoff. So if you like the under, I bet that sooner rather than later.
Sure, and let's kick it off here with the NFL Opening Line Report. Thursday, October 7th, first game here for the Week 5 slate. We got 301, 302, the rotation numbers, guys. We're going to hit this Thursday slate and then just go down in rotation order on the Sunday action. We're seeing LA Rams, short week here, Teddy, off of the loss against the Arizona Cardinals, -1 or -1.5 point road favorites, heading up to the Pacific Northwest here, 54 being the total. It's the Rams and the Seahawks Thursday night, Teddy.
Yeah, I mean, frankly, we could doodly-oop a bunch of games today. And we could even call this one an emergency betting alert. If you like the Rams, the money's already come. It's 1.5. I'm seeing 2 starting to pop. I'm not seeing a dramatic instance where you got to bet this now just because I don't think it's going to 3. It's not going to get, so it's gotten to 1.5, 2, and we're seeing some resistance at this number. So it's not going to be the key number. That being said, if you like the Rams, I'd do that sooner rather than later. Look ahead line here, LA -1, total of 53. My powering number is Pick'em, and the markets this morning are sitting with now the Rams -1.5. We'll call it 54.5. And it's definitely worth noting 2 things about the Rams. One, this is the, 2 weeks ago, first 2 weeks of this season, they're number 1 defense in yards allowed and points allowed. They're number 1 in yards allowed, points allowed last year. Last 2 weeks, they went up 911 yards and 61 points. The defense has been picked apart. Mm-hmm. In addition, this is normally the money comes against the team traveling on Thursday. That's not the case in this one. The markets definitely have a bias towards the Rams. And if you like LA, I bet them now.
Okay, look towards the Rams in that one. Thursday nighter, the move going towards the Rams. We got Sunday action, Teddy. Actually, 1 o'clock Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific kick here, starting off top of the card, 451, 452. New York Jets, Atlanta Falcons, seeing 44 being the total in Mercedes-Benz. And the Falcons, -3.5 home favorites here, Teddy. What are we thinking in Midtown Atlanta starting off the board on Sunday?
We got to doodly-oop this one, absolutely, for the total. This total's about to get hit if it hasn't gotten hit already. The 44s are going to be gone. It's going to be 45. It's going to be 45 and a half. I don't know how high it's going to go. If you like the over, it's at Wembley in London, I believe.
Oh, yeah.
For the 6:30 a.m. start. If you like this over, bet it right now. Don't wait. Look ahead line here, Atlanta 4-44. My powering number on a neutral field is Atlanta only 1.5. And the market's 3.5. And now obviously we're seeing the money come on the over. I want to make it very clear. And I was asked this, there was a great question, so many good questions in the comments last week on YouTube. And I did my best to answer as many as I could. Someone saying, do you factor anything in to my powering number? The answer is no. It's team A minus team B, any home field, and that's the number. But from a situational standpoint, even though my powering is only 1.5 and the number here is 3.5, it's a Jets team that hadn't won a game, very young, just wild win yesterday, and now they got to go to London, and it's not a Jet spot. And the markets are saying, we don't trust this team off the win, especially against a Falcons team. And look, Matt Ryan threw 4 touchdown passes yesterday, no turnovers for Atlanta. The Falcons went 10 for 16 on third downs, and they didn't win the game, which speaks to their defense, but also speaks to their offensive capabilities. And from a hunger standpoint, Arthur Smith, Falcons' first-year head coach, quote, obviously frustrating. We had multiple opportunities to win that game. We didn't. And the Jets on the other end of that spectrum. So from a situational standpoint, it merits some adjustment off the power rating number. So even though my number is a full 2 points lower in this game, it's not a game where I'm running to the betting window. I got to take the Jets. Plus, don't like this spot for the Jets at all. You can understand why the more veteran of these two teams, Atlanta, is favored by more than a field goal in this early start game in London.
Great analysis there from Teddy Covers on Twitter at Teddy_Covers. And guys, nice catch there, Teddy. Yes, that is in Wembley in London, not in Atlanta. That is a 9:30 a.m. Eastern kickoff. We got Miami and Tampa Bay heading back here to the East Coast, Teddy. The state of Florida, a little in-state rivalry, 1 o'clock Eastern kick here. Miami Dolphins at the Tampa Bay Bucs, 47.5 being the total. We're seeing the Bucs now minus 10, actually a lot of minus 10 in the hooks as the home favorite in Raymond James, Teddy.
And this is another one where I'm not convinced the 10.5 is going to be there. If you like Miami, taking a 10.5 right now makes sense for this better. Look ahead line here was 9.5 and 49.5. My powering number is 12. But again, we have to factor in the spot for these two teams. From a pure powering standpoint, Tampa's a lot better than Miami is right now. And I've crashed Miami's power rating after they've looked awful in multiple weeks in a row. But, number one, Tampa Bay, you want to talk about a flat spot. This is a very flat spot. They're off the Patriots and the Rams. It's 2 big games they'll play all year. They're also now down their top 3 cornerbacks. All right. It's the league's best rushing defense, but their top 3 cornerbacks are all hurt. All right. They just pulled up 2 guys from the practice squad. Richard Sherman isn't the player that he was 10 years ago, and it's a problem for Tampa against the pass right now. Meanwhile, Miami, who was, again, awful yesterday, outgained by 150 yards, outgained 139 to 35 on the ground. Brissett had 199 passing yards, but 123 of those came in the fourth quarter. Here's a quote from a coach who's, Brian Flores, not amused. Quote, I think we've got to take a look at everything. We will take a look at everything. I would say it's across the board, offense, defense, special teams. It starts with me. Coaching, I've got to do a better job. I say that every week. I don't want to say that every week. And it's 3 straight games in which the opposing team has gone on a 20-plus point run against Miami. They gave up, lost 35-0 to the Bills, and then gave up 25 unanswered against the Raiders, and then 3-0 lead became a 20-3 deficit yesterday. It's a Colts team that had given up a $140 to Seattle on the ground and 101 to the Rams and 180 to the Titans, and then give up 35 yards on the ground in Miami. There are issues with the Dolphins. The markets, the broader markets, the public, they don't want any part of Miami right now. Could be a value spot for the Dolphins and what might be a very flat spot for the home favorite, a game they want to win. Be done with it. Not a game where they're necessarily going to be playing their most efficient football.
Making our way down the Sunday card here. We got Philadelphia Eagles, Carolina Panthers up next. 1 o'clock Eastern kick here, Teddy. 45 being the total. We're seeing the Panthers -4. There are some 4 in the hooks out there, but mainly -4. Looking at the Wager Talk odds screen, as the Panthers is the home favorite in this one, Teddy.
Yeah, and look, Carolina, look-ahead line was Carolina -4 and 46.5. My powering number is Carolina -4. The opener was -4 and 46.5. We're seeing a little bit of under money come in on this one. A fair bit of under money come in on this one, actually. 45.5 this morning. Now we're seeing a lot of 45s out there. That's where the action's coming from a total standpoint on this one. Nothing really doing on the side. Matt Rule, after the bad loss yesterday in Dallas, and again, don't be fooled by that box score. It's a fraudulent box score. The Panthers had 155 yards and 2 touchdowns. The last 2 drives, they were meaningless. Dallas was up by 3 scores in the 4th. Matt Rule, after the game, not amused. Quote, our rush defense has sort of been our calling card. We're not able to stop the run today. We're not able to get to the quarterback. We're not able to take the ball away. And our offense turned the ball over. Worth noting, here's one of those facts that you're just like, how, not that I was going to make money off of this, but Sam Darnold had 2 rushing touchdowns yesterday. Sam Darnold, is now the first quarterback in NFL history to have 5 rushing touchdowns in the first 4 games of the season. Sam Darnold, who we don't think of the mobile QB.
No.
His quote, I think it's just a matter of what defenses want us to do. If they want to show us certain looks, we're going to take advantage of it. Darnold, 6 carries yesterday, 35 yards. He is now officially a mobile quarterback for the Panthers. As for Philly, the defense is now no interceptions the first 3 games. They finally got one yesterday, but they gave up 5 touchdown passes in the process. 5 for 5 touchdowns allowed in the red zone. Philly, 3 different touchdowns negated by penalty yesterday. Settled for field goals 3 times inside the red zone. Nick Sirianni, not amused. You're furious that you're 1-3. The self-inflicted wounds have got to stop. Worth noting for Philly, they played fast yesterday. Really fast. There were 72 points scored in a game in which each team had only 8 drives each. And there weren't even really 8 drives because 1 for each team was a kneel down at the end of the half. So there was only 7 drives for each team. 72 points scored. No punts at all in the Eagles-Chiefs game yesterday.
Yeah, it was the first time in a long time for that, Teddy, in terms of the no punts stat. And Teddy, we got to hit the chat box a little bit here. We got Fortnite, Icor, RJ, Tankin with Tua, all you guys, O+. Thanks for joining us, Mike Campbell as well. The comments, the questions, all is welcome here, guys. If you're liking the content, please smash the like button. Teddy, we do have to go back because Irish John here in the chat is helping us out. We first said, in Mercedes-Benz in Atlanta, that was my mistake. Then we said in London, correct. Wembley Stadium, although it is in Tottenham Stadium, I believe is what he's saying, okay. Hotspur Stadium. Would that change anything with the handicap?
No.
Okay.
I think the surface is better. I remember there being people complaining about the surface at Wembley, and that may be at least a part of the reason why we're seeing some of this over money.
Okay.
Excellent point. Yeah, Thank you for chipping in. It could be. Again, I don't know. I can't tell you that I look you in the eye and say, oh, I know the nuances of how these 2 stadiums are going to play. I don't.
Right.
But I was under I just have a general impression that the field at Wembley was slow. The turf, it was a slow turf. It got wet there.
Okay, fair enough. And good stuff from Irish John in the chat box. Thank you for helping us out. We're beating these lines as a team here, guys. NFL opening line report each and every Monday here on the Wager Talk YouTube channel, 10 a.m. Pacific time. Come join us in the chat box. If you're watching on replay, that works as well. Feel free to drop a line below in the comments section. Teddy, next game up, we get the New Orleans Saints at the Washington football team. We're seeing the Saints -1 or -1 in the hook. Road favorites here, short road favorites, 44.5 in our nation's capital.
Yeah, look ahead line here with Saints -1 and 43. My number, power rating wise, Saints -1. The markets are -1 last night. I'm seeing a couple of 1.5s there, but it still like the markets are still pretty well solid at the -1 now, and total in that 44 and a half range. And of course, the Saints have been a dead nuts under team, and Washington's been a dead nuts over team. So I'm not sure with the. And of course, it was a very fraudulent cover yesterday for Washington. They're supposed to drive down the field to kick the game-winning field goal, and then Heineke, quote, he was the fifth read on the touchdown pass to J.D. McKissic. No one was open, so I needed to make a play, and then McKissic outruns all the defenders and gets into the end zone. Tough beat if you had Atlanta plus the points in that ball game. But this is a defense that, again, they give up 374 yards and 24 first downs to an offense that hasn't been real good. They can't get off the field on third downs. The Falcons converted 10 of 16 chances. There are definitely issues with Washington, although they feel good coming off that win. The Saints don't feel good. Jameis Winston. I apologize to the fans. I'm so happy to be here and so blessed to have this opportunity to play in front of our fans. That was the best part about today. You don't like to lose these type of games. Of course, blowing a double-digit lead in the last 8 minutes of the fourth quarter. Sean Payton, it's frustrating, it's disappointing, and all of those emotions. That's why it feels so good to win, and that's why it feels this way when you lose. We can't get this game back. Alvin Kamara, 26 for 120 yesterday, but 0 catches, and his long rush of the day was 10 yards. When you're shutting down Kamara right now, the Saints probably have the weakest receiving core in the NFL. If you can stop Kamara, you can beat this team. And they allowed 8.1 yards per play against the Giants yesterday. That's certainly a concern, and maybe a concern against Washington. So no initial thoughts on where this line is going to move. It's sitting pretty flat right now, and I'm not anticipating a significant move off the current number, barring injury news throughout the week.
Making our way down the 1 o'clock Eastern kicks here. We get Tennessee and Jacksonville up next, Teddy. We're seeing the Titans minus 4-point away favorites. There is a 3 in the hook out there, 48.5 being the total in North Florida. Teddy, one thing I noticed looking at the board here for today's slate, there's only 4 home favorites, Jacksonville being one of them. So this is one of the few where you get a home dog, although it is the Jaguars. And of course, on social media, Urban Meyer had a video out there that's circulating. They got the rookie quarterback. What are we thinking here, Tennessee and Jacksonville?
Well, look ahead line here was Titans minus 7.5, a total of 52. So that's a significant move off the look ahead line. What happened? Well, Tennessee's receivers got hurt. And we saw the Titans offense yesterday with no receivers, and it's not the same offense without Julio Jones or A.J. Brown. And both those guys may well be out again this week. My powering number is Titans 5. Last night we were seeing 3.5s on this game popping. Now we're basically 4 and 48.5. So the money has come for the under. The quotes for the Jags after the Thursday night game, significant. Urban Meyer, Trevor took care of the ball. No turnovers for the Jags. Still lost, but they covered. Trevor played his best game. He's coming alive. That's a heartbroken locker room. We've got to get them back. Trevor Lawrence, we've got to regroup a little. This one hurts. I'm interested to see how the Jags respond. Sometimes teams off the one that hurts, you don't see their best game. And sometimes teams off the one that hurts, you see them finally win. And we saw a lot of the winless teams yesterday really dig deep. Whether it was Indy, whether it was the Giants, whether it was the Jets, the winless teams, they don't want to be winless forever. You see concerted efforts and with extra time to repair and the issues that Tennessee has with the receiving core and the issues that Tennessee has on the defensive side of the football right now. But Jacksonville's got defensive issues too. By the way, they lost DJ Shark yesterday, who hasn't been a huge impact player this year. But when you thought about what the passing game was going to look like, Shark was a big piece of it. If this offense was going to be explosive, he broke his ankle. He's done for a while. The Titans yesterday, they have 30-16 first down edge. They outrushed the Jets by more than 2-1. And Tannehill played great in that game in a lot of ways. But he took 7 sacks. And then, of course, the delay of game that ended up resulting in the missed field goal by Bullock in overtime. They lost another offensive lineman. Saffold's have a rough year. Mike Vrabel, after the game, quoted, "It wasn't like we didn't move the ball. We just weren't able to finish drives early in the game and kept them in it." That might be the case again here. Tennessee off a loss is an interesting idea, but Tennessee is a road favorite off an overtime loss, falls into a very negative subset. Titans defense, not one that I'm comfortable laying points with. We're seeing the Titans money today. We'll have to see what their receiving core looks like as the week progresses. If they get their receivers back, they'll take money. If they don't, the Jags likely to take money between now and kickoff.
Guys, next game up, 4-6-1, 4-6-2, Detroit Lions, Minnesota Vikings. We're seeing the Vikings mostly minus 8-point home favorites. There's a couple 7.5s out there. 49 being the total. Detroit at Minnesota, Teddy.
Yeah, look ahead line here was Vikings 8 and 49.5. And we could doodly oop this one if we want to as well. In fact, let's do it. Let's doodly oop this one right here, right now.
Doodly-oop, emergency betting alert. Doodly-oop.
Yeah, I'm seeing the money come for Detroit right now. There were 8s when we started the show. Now the 7.5s are starting to pop at the leading indicator books. This one's moving as we speak. So the money coming for the Lions. If you like Detroit +8, grab it now. Like I said, look headline was 8. My powering number is 9. Opened 8.5, 8 last night, 8s this morning, and now we're seeing the 7.5s popping up at these leading indicator books. That 8 is not going to hold for Detroit. The Lions became the first team in the last 40 years to reach the red zone in each of their first 3 possessions and not score any points. They also had another empty red zone drive in the fourth quarter that tied them for the most by any team in any game since 2000. All right, they've lost 8 straight now. They beat the Bears week 13 last year and haven't won since. They went 1 for 5 with their red zone chances and allowed more than 10 yards per pass attempt to the Bears. All right. Lions could have won that game, and they ended up losing by double digits. Dan Campbell after the game, quote, I felt like there was a little more anger than there was disappointment. And that's a good thing because that'll drive you to come back. Jared Goff, positive quote after the game. I couldn't ask for a better group of guys to do it with this, fight through this adversity, and come out on the other side. Goff was pretty awful yesterday. Certainly in the red zone, he wasn't very good. As for Minnesota, opening drive touchdown, and then it goes 3 and out, stopped on downs at the Browns 36, 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out. 8 plays, 41 yards. They're 2nd and 4 on the Cleveland 37. They end up punting from midfield. 3 and out, interception, stopped in the final drive from the Cleveland 33. On 3rd and 4th from 3 from the Cleveland 33. So they didn't even get inside the 30-yard line the whole rest of the game. Their offensive line got beat up by a strong defensive line. Now, a big step down in class into the defensive line play between what they saw against the Browns versus what they're going to see against the Lions.
Sure.
But, Minnesota has issues right now. And the markets are clearly telling us that with the money coming on Detroit.
Good stuff. Breaking down the 1 o'clock Eastern games here, guys. Teddy covers Drew Martin opening line report. Heading back to the chat box here. We had Irish John helping us out with the London game. Shane saying, hey, Drew and Teddy, all the best from Dublin. Watch the weather. Could be a factor in London. So keeping us updated here in the chat box on that London game. We got the first one of the season, 9:30 a.m. We did hit it at the top. Teddy, next game up. Heading down the list here, Denver at Pittsburgh. We got 40.5 being the total. Pittsburgh Steelers, short home favorites, -1 pretty much across the board.
Yeah, and we got a QB question mark here with Teddy Bridgewater questionable. And I'm going to talk about the Bridgewater lock difference in just a minute. A look ahead line here was Denver -2, 41.5. My powering number, and this is a lock number, not a Bridgewater number. Denver -1. Last night, we were looking at pick'ems. This morning, we're looking at Pittsburgh -1. And especially if Locke plays, the Steelers likely to be a wise guy choice this week. TJ Watt's quote after yesterday's loss, it's still super early in the season, at home next week, and just like every week, it's a got to have it. This feeling definitely sucks. Roethlisberger was awful yesterday. I don't know how else to say it. I mean, the Pittsburgh got a tough break before halftime as a penalty wiped out a touchdown off a block kick when Mika Fitzpatrick made a play for the ages that would have put the Steelers back ahead. But they didn't respond to that adversity. And Roethlisberger is missing open receivers, not looking comfortable. I mean, if we're pointing a finger right now at Pittsburgh, it's going at the quarterback position. Big Ben is clearly not comfortable. All that being said, I mean, the Broncos punted on 10 of their 12 possessions. They only punted 9 times their first 3 games. There's a huge difference between Bridgewater and Locke in terms of upside and downside. All right. Locke is a guy who's going to take more downfield shots. He's going to have more throws that have potential to be big plays for both teams. Locke is good for the over, if you like Denver, because he's going to make mistakes. He had some bad throws yesterday. And he's going to take shots in a way that Bridgewater doesn't. Bridgewater's not I'm going to chuck it 50 yards downfield type of quarterback. Bridgewater's a safer option. He doesn't make the mistakes. But from a total standpoint, locks the over quarterback. Bridgewater is the under quarterback, in my opinion. It's worth noting, not just Bridgewater. This is a very banged up Broncos team that took, I think, 8 starters now out for Denver, or were this past week. And a 9th one, Patrick Surtain, the stud young cornerback who was phenomenal again yesterday. Surtain had rib issues and was taken out of the game at the end. It could be 9 starters missing this week, and that's a lot of starters for a Broncos team to be down. That's an injury report you want to pay attention to.
Great information here from Teddy Covers. Teddy, I love what you said there. It's not only about like better quarterback power rating for the team, but one quarterback mattering something different to the total. Sometimes that could be a huge value there for NFL bettors in terms of betting the total, lock being more of the over quarterback. Just taking more chances, guys. Teddy Covers breaking it down each and every Monday here on the NFL Opening Line Report. Check him out at wagertalk.com, guys. All sports, 21-8 run, 72% since September 20th. He is hot right now. It's 5%. Big ticket plays, that's the highest rated plays, 12-4, 75%. Those are rare too. That's back since May. His 5% big tickets, 3-0, 100% year to date. College football up over 60%. And my favorite stat here, guys, NFL 235 and 179. That's 57% since week 1, 2015. He's 63% year to date, 57% going all the way back since 2015. Check them out at wagertalk.com. It's $9 Monday as well, guys. So Teddy Covers, you get the short sample size, the long sample size in the NFL betting markets. He's beating it. A guy you're going to be wanting to tail. Check him out at wagertalk or sportsmemo.com. Next game up, Green Bay and Cincinnati. Teddy, love this handicap. Can't wait for your opinion here on the lines. Packers -3 in the hook. Road favorites at most sports books. 49.5 the total in Cincinnati, Teddy.
Doodly-oop, doodly-oop, doodly-oop. Emergency betting alert. If you like Cincy, grab the 3.5 right now. I don't think it'll be there by the end of the day. I'm not sure it'll be there in an hour. Look headline was Packers 3 and 48. My power rating numbers, Packers only 1.5. Markets open 3.5 and 49. We're starting to see the threes pop now. I'm not convinced they're going to be there again by the end of today. We will see, likely to see, the Cincinnati money. Matt LaFleur after the win today for the Packers. I thought that was a mature win. Just our whole mentality all week. Very workmanlike. Guys came in very focused. I feel the energy was great. If you've been watching the Packers, the Aaron Rodgers era, you already know this is a flat spot game. It feels like it. It smells like it. Ton of injuries. You know, Valdez-Scantling went on IR. Kevin King's hurt. Offensive lineman Jenkins is hurt. Chris Barnes, the linebacker, is hurt. Darius Smith is out. David Bakhtiari is out. You know, I mean, they fell behind 7-0 and then scored 27 the next 30 to seize control yesterday. But these are the type of games that throughout the course of Aaron Rodgers' career, he's had some issues with. Let's put it that. And worth noting the quote from Zach Taylor, the Bengals head coach, who is no longer on the hot seat. All the hot seat coaches won yesterday. You know, Joe Judge won, Matt Nagy won. Zach Taylor's off to a good start. You know, Taylor's quote, it's critical to get this momentum going into a 10-day work week. Remember, they have extra time against an opponent who's been to the 2 NFC championship games. We did not play great football. They generally beat us in all 3 phases early, but we had the whole second half to play. Again, talking about that first half. There was no reason to panic. Nobody did. Remember how bad that first half was Cincinnati on Thursday. It was awful. Everyone was calm, cool, and collected. Those are bet-on quotes. The Bengals, the markets are seeing that way. Again, if you like Cincy, get them sooner rather than later.
Last 1 o'clock Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific kick here. New England Patriots at the Houston Texans. We're seeing the Pats off of Sunday Night Football here, Teddy. Having to lay -9 on the road. Low total here, Teddy. 39.5. Kind of a tough spot for New England, but what are you thinking here? Pats and Texans.
And the early money's come for the Patriots. You know, I mean, you remember, 9, in many ways, 9 is a teaser protection line. All right. When the books hang a 9, they're not worried about the difference between 8 and 9. 8's not a, 8's a modestly key number with the 2-point conversion. 9's as dead a number as there is in the NFL. And a lot of times the books will post a 9 as opposed to an 8.5 or an 8, just because you can't tease with a 6-point teaser and get it under a field goal. So 9, we call it a teaser protection number. Now, this isn't necessarily a teaser protection number across the board, but you can anticipate New England being a popular choice on the teaser cards this week if they're priced at 8 or 8.5, asking them just to win the game or win by less than a field goal. And of course, the books are paying a fair bit of attention to the teasers, given the current marketplace. Look ahead line here, like I said, 7.5. My powering number is only 6 on the game, and we're at 9 this morning. It's not like the Patriots are that good. And then you look at some of the Texans were awful yesterday. Davis Mills struggled in the weather. And the first 20 plays before the 2-minute warning, they had a net of 7 yards. They finished with 87 gross passing yards. That doesn't count the 4 turnovers or the 3 sacks. Linebacker Camu Gregor-Hill, that's one of the most embarrassing losses I've ever had. We're all embarrassed. We're not happy with this at all, but we're going to come in and correct it. We're going to fix this. David Culley taking all the blame for himself. You like that? First of all, I didn't have them ready to play. He came to Davis Mills' defense. It's not just Davis. Our whole entire offense didn't play well today. We just played bad football. The defense for the Texans, we have to talk about this because they were great. Yeah, the offense couldn't do anything. And for 3 quarters, they were containing Buffalo and making stops in the red zone. Held them to 19 points, touchdown and 4 field goals. And finally, in the fourth quarter, they just ran out of steam. The offense couldn't move the football at all. But, Patriots, some good signs yesterday. Mac Jones completes 19 straight passes at one point. The defense played well, obviously. The special teams played well. But this team is now 1-3 for the first time since 2001. And I'm not convinced the Patriots are built to cover point spreads like this on the highway. So even though we have, the markets leaning their way this morning, and the money's all come on New England this morning, not my money. Am I seeing something that says that, especially off a huge game like that for the Pats? And Belichick's been great off a loss, and Belichick's great against rookie quarterbacks. I get it. They beat the Jets by margin. Yeah, tough game. I'm not going to get involved, probably.
Sure. And in the chat box, can't get it right, saying Hoodie versus another rookie quarterback, you know what to do. But Teddy, I kind of agree with you. This is a tough spot. Not -9 on the road. I don't know if they're really built for that as of right now. But making our way down, Teddy, we get the Bears and the Las Vegas Raiders. Our Las Vegas Raiders. We get -4.5 here. That's the Raiders at home, 45.5. Of course, limited marketplace here, Teddy, with the Raiders playing tonight in Monday Night Football.
Yeah, and so I talk about the look-ahead lines, and I just use the opener on the look-ahead lines because they don't usually get bet that much. All right, you might see about a half-point move here, a point move there. So I always talk the opener, what the books opened at. There was a huge line move on the look-ahead line for this game last week. It opened 7, it closed 4, I think, or 4.5. All the money came for the Bears. And from a situational standpoint, you can understand why. You got Khalil Mack going back, or not going back, facing his former team. You have the Raiders coming off a series of huge games, including a Monday Night Football game against the Chargers tonight. So this is all before the Bears played last week. The money was coming on Chicago. After the game last night, my powering numbers, Raiders -7. We'll see what happens tonight. I'll put it this way. Yes, the Bears beat the Lions yesterday. Yes, my clients and I cashed a ticket with the Bears minus the points against the Lions yesterday. And I'll tell you what, there weren't many other teams that the Bears would have been good enough to beat in that ballgame. And to see that giant smile on Justin Fields' face in the third quarter, all right, where the Bears didn't do anything. They scored a field goal after that. To see that's like I'm fat and happy in the third quarter of an NFL game against a divisional opponent that's going to keep playing. That was a huge concern for me. Chicago went and they scored that touchdown in the open second half, and that was it. And they were lucky to win that game. They are not a good football team. Even a 2-2 off a win, I don't know if the Bears are going to be bet on.
It's going to be a tough ticket too, Teddy, in Allegiant Stadium. Chicago Bears coming to town. Watch out there, guys, if you're looking to get into the stadium in the desert. Next game up here, Teddy, Cleveland Browns, LA Chargers. We're seeing the Browns pick them or -1 short road favorites here, Teddy. 49.5 or 50 being the total. Of course, limited marketplace with the Chargers playing Monday Night Football tonight.
Yeah, look ahead line is pick them. My powering number is Browns -1, and the markets are basically in that same range right now. Obviously, Chargers play tonight. I want to talk about Cleveland for a minute because this is really worth noting. I mean, I'm making my notes. I'm like, man, this Browns team, they're just an under team. You got to play them under. because their defense is blowing up the line of scrimmage. Their cornerback play is outstanding. They're not giving up anything in terms of downfield passing. And it's all run with no downfield passing game right now. Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt, that was the entire offense yesterday. Kevin Stefanski after the game, quote, "That was what the game called for today. It might be completely different next week, and we have to be ready to do it to win any which way." That's one of those quotes, almost Belichickian, where your team's going to change their game plan based on their opponent. And that's certainly something you want to be aware of when it comes to Browns totals. Nick Chubb, was pretty sloppy, to be honest. We got the win, and that's all that matters. And again, when they're sloppy and they win by a touchdown on the road against a decent team, you got to look at that as a view thing, right? Baker Mayfield was awful, 15-33 for 155 yards in that ball game. But listen to the quote from Mayfield. This is a game where he was off. And the games where Mayfield's off, the Browns' offense doesn't work. Quote, "There's a lot of easy throws there that I missed. Situationally, you get into running the ball, and I didn't have a couple of throws for a while. You kind of get out of that rhythm." Mayfield, very much a rhythm quarterback, something worth noting if you're live betting Browns games moving forward. He's out of rhythm. He doesn't often get back into it. When he's in rhythm, Browns are bet on all the way.
4:25 Eastern, 1:25 Pacific. Kick for our next one. NFC East battle here, Teddy. New York Football Giants at the Dallas Cowboys. We're seeing Cowboys minus 7-point home favorites, 52 being the total in Jerry's world, Teddy.
And I had this circled as another doodly-oop, but it's already gone. There were 7.5s on the Giants this morning everywhere, and those are, there are a few books that still have them, and by I say a few, I mean like not many. There's a prominent one here in Vegas. I don't think it'll be there in an hour by the time you ran it. If you get on your app right now, you might get it. All that said, look headline was 8.5, total 49.5. My powering number is 8.5, and the markets are 7.5 down to 7 today. Dallas's defense is better than advertised. 5 sacks yesterday, 2 turnovers created. And again, don't be fooled by the box score. They gave up 155 yards over the last 2 meaningless touchdown drives. That's the second straight, maybe the third straight week that we've seen Dallas show signs defensively from a defense that's been abysmal. They lead the NFL in forcing turnovers. They have multiple takeaways in 8 straight games going back to last year. That's the longest active streak in the league. This is a defense. Look, the upside for Dallas is there. And I think we're starting to see it now in the markets with this report. But, of course, when the Cowboys play the Giants, you expect a battle, a divisional rivalry. The Giants, it's the first time the passing game looked like it's supposed to. 5 different receivers would catch the 20-plus yards. The red zone woes continue. They're only 1 for 3 in the red zone yesterday. If the Giants play their A game, they can beat anyone. But you expect a battle. I think Dallas is a team that I want my money on, not a team I want my money against right now. You talk about Cowboys right now. I don't even remember the last time I said this, but the upside for Dallas this year is Super Bowl.
Wow, big words there for the Cowboys, guys, as we got 2 games left. Feel free to fire away any questions in the chat box. We'll try to get to as many as possible before we shut this down. And like always, guys, feel free to comment below on the YouTube channel. Any questions, comments, what you're looking to bet, all is welcome. If you're liking the content, please smash that like button. Next game up, Teddy, we get the San Francisco 49ers, Arizona Cardinals here. NFC West battle Sunday afternoon, 50.5 being the total. Cardinals minus 5 in the hook, home favorites in the desert. This is an interesting one, Teddy. What are we thinking, 49ers and Cardinals?
Look ahead line, Arizona 2.5 and 52.5. Obviously, it doesn't look like Garoppolo is going to go, and Trey Lance merits a modest points per adjustment. I'll talk about that in just a moment. Again, my powering number is 6. Markets opened 4.5 last night. We're seeing 5s today. I think it's more likely to go up than go down. Arizona's the flavor of the week this week. Off of yesterday's win. And look, I mean, when they played LA, it looked like they were made a statement in that game, and yet after the game, Cliff Kingsbury, not a statement. We wanted to get a week better. Division games are important. We got to continue to play physical football and clean some stuff up. Cardinals plus 5 turnover differential for the season. They scored touchdowns off of both LA turnovers in the first half. Cliff Kingsbury, the best thing we're doing is protecting the football. They protect the football against San Fran. If this team to turn the ball over, sky's the limit for Arizona. It really is. Byron Murphy. I feel like as a team, we're building towards something. We hadn't beaten the Rams in how many years? I don't know the exact number, 5 years, but there's something definitely growing. Kyler Murray. Not too worried about what other people think. I think the guys in the locker room understand what we're doing, what we're capable of, and where we can take it. You know, Arizona is an ascending team right now. And San Fran isn't, you know. But the market's going to say, oh, they won the yardage battle by 200 yesterday. It was just turnovers, -2 in turnovers. And obviously Jimmy G got hurt. And they played without Robbie Gould, who got hurt in warmups, and then ended up, affecting the game significantly. And then Wisniewski came in and didn't. He missed an extra point, and then he missed a field goal or something. He missed a 41-yard field goal try. Trey Lance came in, and I know he struggled the first couple of series, but Trey Lance was making some plays. All right, Trey Lance was about to get sacked like 5 different times, and 5 different times he danced out of it. And several times he found receivers downfield after dancing out of it. He had the one touchdown, the 76-yarder to Debo. And then another one. Trey Lance is going to be a difficult handicap, all right, because he's going to make rookie mistakes, and the guy's going to He's going to make some eye-popping plays. You can see it already in this one. Arizona's a one-way team for me, and the markets are certainly pointing in that direction. If Lance plays, this number can only go up. If you're like Arizona, -5, I would think it's likely to go higher.
Teddy, quick follow-up to that. How much of a drop-off do you do in your power ratings from Garoppolo to Lance? And also, is there the over-under discrepancy between one quarterback maybe being an over quarterback, like you're talking about with Trance making plays, but also might turn the ball over? Is he more of the over quarterback with the 49ers and maybe Garoppolo being an under quarterback? Just throwing that out there.
So I made a 1-point adjustment, and I don't even know if that's enough or if that's the right number. I don't, because it's a rookie QB making his first start on the road against a divisional foe. It's not easy. Mm-hmm. But they don't have a whole lot of film on what they want to do for Trey Lance. And Trey Lance, the 49ers brain trust is pretty good at designing some unique game plans. And this, off a loss with the season on the line type of a deal, they go 2-3. It's a big deal in this division. So I would expect San Fran to everything they have, they're going to throw at Arizona this week. And therefore, I'm not going to make a huge adjustment going from a mediocre starter to a rookie that shows some potential. And frankly, like I said, I adjusted a point, and I'm not even sure I should have adjusted that much. All that said, San Fran has plenty of other injuries to worry about.
Okay, we get the Sunday nighter, guys. Buffalo Bills, Kansas City Chiefs here, 56.5 being the total in Arrowhead. Teddy, we're seeing -2 in the hook. That's -2.5, guys. Kansas City Chiefs as the home favorite.
And we can doodly up this one as well. There are still 3s out there, all right? There's still a good handful of 3s out there. They will not be there. All right. There are certainly issues with Kansas City's defense. And again, they didn't force a punt yesterday. The week before, Mahomes, who they had 4 turnovers in the loss to the Chargers. Only one yesterday was a god-awful pass you can't even believe. Like, Patrick Mahomes, you did what? Of course, he threw 5 touchdowns, which is positive. But it's a Chiefs team that has some defensive issues. Look, headline here was KC -4, total 56.5. My powering number is Chiefs -1.5, and I thought I was being generous. Kansas City. Right now, Buffalo might be the best team in the NFL. Look, the first team since the 2009 Jets to have 2 shutout wins by 35 or more points in a season. The last 2 teams to post 2 shutouts in the first 4 weeks of the season, Ravens in 2000. Didn't they win the Super Bowl that year?
I think
Washington
so.
in 91. Didn't they win the Super Bowl that year?
All right. I believe so. I'll check it.
I think both those teams won the Super Bowl that year. But I don't know if it was the 2000 season, if it was 2000 and then they won the Super Bowl in 2001. Both those teams were contending for Super Bowls around that time. Drew's all trying to scurry in the background. Bills have some issues on the defense side of the football right now in terms of injuries. Jordan Poyer hurt, Taron Johnson hurt, Matt Milano hurt. But we talked a lot about the Bills' quality depth and what Sean McDermott was able to do in crafting this roster. The backups were good enough to pitch a shutout. Quote, those guys were ready. That's what Edmonds said, Buffalo's backups. Guys were able to make plays, not just being out there, but making plays that dictated the game. I know it has to feel good. They put the work in, so I'm not even surprised. Defensively, again, you have Bills in playoff revenge, and you have only one of these two teams that's getting stops right now. The money's already come from Buffalo. We may well see more money for Buffalo. You like a +3 on the Buffalo Bills. Do that sooner rather than later. You can still find them now. I'm not convinced you'll find them by this afternoon here in Vegas.
Teddy, I got the Baltimore Ravens 34, New York Football Giants 7 in 2001 Super Bowl in Raymond James Stadium in Tampa, Florida. So that's the Ravens in 2001.
Right. That's after the 2000 season.
Correct. So in 2000, that Ravens team won the Super Bowl.
Yes. So yes, that was Super Bowl team. In 91, the Washington. I'm pretty sure they were Super Bowl. They were in the 91. Mix. It doesn't matter if they won or not.
Okay. Yeah, they were in the mix.
Yeah, they were. They were Super Bowl contenders. That's the type of teams that do what Buffalo has done over the first quarter of the season. Like I said, my powering number lower than what we're seeing in the markets this morning. And the Bills' defensive numbers are eye-popping. People are going to pay attention to that. Buffalo's going to take money.
We got guys in the chat saying wrong team favored. Barking dog here in the Bills, maybe looking towards that side, guys. 2.5 out there, 3s as well with the Chiefs, and maybe a little emergency betting alert there if you can find the 3. We got Monday Nighter here, Teddy, to end it. And guys, fire out any questions. We'll try to answer as many as possible before we shut this down. Teddy, Monday, October 11th here, Indianapolis Colts, Baltimore Ravens, 47 being the total. Ravens -7-point home favorites.
And look, I just want to say we appreciate every one of you that puts that thumbs up. Thank you. We appreciate all the follows on Wager Talk TV. And I certainly appreciate all the comments, all the guys that take time out of their day to just, but give me a thought, give me an opinion. Drew and I are making a real concerted effort to get into YouTube and, respond to some of your comments, interact with you guys. So thank you for doing all that. Thank you for making this the fastest growing show on Wager Talk TV. We really appreciate it. When it comes to Monday Night Football, look-ahead line was Baltimore -6.5, total 49.5. My powering numbers, Ravens -8. I'm still not sold on Andy. And the markets today, we're basically looking at 7s across the board. I'm not seeing any indications that this number is going to move. I'm seeing 47 at literally every book on the screen. I don't see that moving. Baltimore did something yesterday that's worth noting. Denver shut that running game down. All right, shut it down. Le'Veon Bell's the big sign. Remember when the Jets paid Le'Veon Bell all that money? Don't pay running backs. Oh, my God. But it didn't matter. The Ravens, again, they got the controversy that they got to 100 instead of taking a knee on the last play. But the bottom line was Denver shut down the running game, and Lamar Jackson was good enough to beat them through the air. Vic Fangio, after the game, I love these opposing coaches quote. We wanted to limit his opportunities to carry it and scramble. We did that, but they were able to complete the long passes, which negated that. Now, the Ravens are on their third left tackle already. Andre Smith is a practice squad promotion. He's in for Andre Villanueva, who was filling in for Ronnie Stanley at the left tackle position. So he's gone from practice squad to starting left tackle. That's a concern. All right, for sure. And yet they were able to throw the football around against a pretty good defense yesterday. Indy allowed 421 rushing yards their first 3 games. Against the Colts, they gave up 35 yards on 16 carries. 20 straight games starting the same 5 offensive linemen coming in the season. Didn't last into the year. Multiple OL injuries. At times yesterday, the Colts looked awful. And at times they were able to beat up on a Dolphins team that looked more awful than they were. I'm still not sold on Indy being right. But when they can run the football, when Jonathan Taylor's got room to run, they're live. Is that going to happen against Baltimore? I wouldn't bet on it.
Guys, that does it for the NFL opening line report. Each and every game here, we'll answer a few questions in the chat box. Come and join us on the Wager Talk YouTube in the chat box. Feel free to drop any lines below in the comments. Like Teddy was saying, love the comments. We'll be in there throughout the week answering any questions, interacting with everybody. Teddy, we got Mike Campbell asking a question here. Falcons survivor pick. I didn't think of it at first, but would that be a good choice heading over there to London?
Atlanta again. Hang on, let me get those statistical numbers for the Falcons again. I mean, so I couldn't get there.
Okay.
Your quarterback threw 4 touchdowns and no turnovers. You went 10 for 16 on third downs, and you didn't win the game. No. I mean, yes, you're not going to get many chances to use Atlanta. And yes, if you're playing the long game, which you have to play using Survivor, this is your chance to use a bad team. But I don't know that I trust it to win it. I wouldn't use. I would find a different choice, personally.
Okay. Yeah, maybe not the Falcons there, Mike. We also got a question here talking about the Cardinals and the 49ers, with the 49ers knocking them off. You think do you use that, or in terms of last season, knocking them out of the playoffs, do you use that with your handicap, Teddy?
You know, when you talk about the playoff revenge, is something that you always want to pay attention to. When it comes to divisional teams, playoff revenge, they hate each other anyway. But, the playoff revenge type of stuff, the division matchups type of stuff, what in these games is that you're not going to see opponents play. You're not going to see teams come out with flat efforts generally. When you have a game like the Bills-Texans yesterday, that's a non-divisional opponent and there's no revenge or anything. Sometimes you see the favorite come out and look flat. And I mean, the Bills were up 19-0, and they still are, and they were flat for extended stretches of that ball game, and still won 40-0. So even if a team's flat, doesn't mean they're going to go not be able to win and cover against lesser foes. But in answer to your question, not necessarily.
We got a good one here from Daniel. Drew, Teddy, what times / days of the week are the key times for watching line movement? You have anything on this, Teddy?
I mean, the 2 biggest times would be Sunday night, Monday morning. Monday morning is the biggest time for line movement, without a doubt. And then on game day, you'll see stuff. Though sometimes you like a lot of times on Saturday, you're all focused in on the college football card, and then all of a sudden I'm like, oh, I better check what happened in the NFL market. And I click over. I'm like, oh wow, this got hit, that got hit. Sometimes there's sneaky Saturday moves as well. But Sunday, if there's one time to focus, Sunday night, Monday morning would be that time, and that's why we do the opening line report every Monday morning, right here at 10 a.m. Pacific time. One for you guys, Becky.
Well done, Teddy. We got Austin asking, is there any value in betting money line instead of spread? Example, Buffalo to win yesterday. Just not sure it would be by 18. So maybe towards that, a big, not wanting to lay 18, but then you're having to lay a lot on the money line. And then also, Teddy, your opinion on, maybe a 2.5 point favorite with kind of that less of the money line. Do you ever look towards the money line instead of the spread?
I do occasionally with a favorite. Not necessarily. I do it with the dog as well. Okay. I'll bet the dog. But a lot of times, certainly with an underdog, I'm going to make my bet plus the points, and then I may make an additional bet on the money line with any NFL underdog that I'm betting. I'm going to have something. Whether I'll split, I might split it 80-20. I might split it 75-25. I might split it 67-33. In terms of percentage-wise of how I'm going to make the bet. But pretty much every dog that I bet, every single-digit dog for sure, I have a little something on the money line in all of those. When it comes to the favorite on the money line, again, it's recreational players get attracted to favorites on the money line because then you don't have to worry about point spreads. And it works great until the favorite loses, and then then it doesn't work so great. And there's going to be favorites that get upset every week in the NFL. When it comes to short favorites below a field goal, that's when I'm most likely to use a money line bet in the NFL. If I got a team -1, -2 in that range, I will absolutely look in that direction for a money line as opposed to asking them to try to win by whatever margin, if I'm confident they're going to win the game. But in general, I'm more inclined to play money lines with underdogs than I am with favorites in general. Good question.
Sure. And to add on to that, guys,
they're all good questions, man.
Yeah, great questions, by the way. And I usually look towards the money line if it's a -1.5 point favorite. That's the one where it kind of catches my eye just because I don't want to lose by 1 point and you don't have to pay that much for the money line. That's the one situation I look to bet the money line. instead of the spread. Teddy, we also have last question here. We're running up against it time-wise. Percent of bankroll that you suggest using per game?
I mean, so it's absolutely an issue of how big your bankroll is. Look, we talk about 2% bets, 3% bets, 4% bets, and those are the general range that we're talking about if you have a decent bankroll. If you have $100, no, you don't want to bet 2% bets, It depends on how big your bankroll is. The bigger bankroll you have, the smaller percentage you're going to use on any individual wager. The smaller, if you have a beginning bankroll, it's okay to bet more of it. You don't want to bet all of it, but it's okay to bet 5 and 8 and 10% of a small bankroll because you have to do something to build up that bankroll. And then if it crashes and burns, you'll try again next year. But it's okay to bet a higher percentage with a smaller bankroll once you have something to protect, something that's going to, a bad season's not going to kill this bankroll. A mediocre season's not going to kill this bankroll. Once you have something to protect, you absolutely need to reduce those wager sizes. Although every good bettor that I know isn't afraid to step. And when you see those opportunities where, hey, this line is bad or this spot screams like a sore thumb or the markets aren't noticing the fact that they have no cornerbacks ready for this week and their opponent's going to chuck the ball all over the field, those step-up spots, it's okay to step up, not half your bankroll, not a quarter of your bankroll, but something significant. It's okay to have bigger bets. But one thing you don't want to do is the parlay guys that go 4-1 every week and lose money. You can't do that. You go 4-1, you got to make money. You go 3-1, you got to make money. You go 2-1, you got to make money. You have to do it. And when you're picking more winners than losers, you have to be able to make money with that, whatever size it is. That's my take.
Absolutely. Well said by Teddy Covers. Guys, thanks for joining us live. Bunch of people here, 450 watching Twitter and YouTube. Teddy and myself really appreciate it, guys. You can find both of us at wagertalk.com. Check out Teddy Covers. Since 2015, he's hitting 57%. That's 235 and 179. He's 63% year to date. Those 5% big ticket plays, 3-0 this season. Check them out. Wager Talk or sportsmemo.com experts page. Teddy Covers. Teddy, any final words here before we shut this down?
Thanks for watching. If you like the show, again, please give us a like, please give us a follow, and please tell your friends. We really appreciate it. Thank you.
Absolutely, guys. Comment below on YouTube. Smash that like button on your way out. Best of luck with your bets. We'll talk next week, Monday, 10 a.m. Pacific time for NFL Opening Line Report. Best of luck, guys.
Why pay regular price when you can save money on every purchase with WagerBucks at both Wager Talk and Sports Memo? WagerBucks are now eligible for use on not just daily, 3-day, and 7-day passes, but all long-term and seasonal packages up to 1 full year. There are tons of options available for every budget and size of bettor, from as low as $90 gets $100, all the way up to $3,500 gets you $5,000. Save every day on every pick you buy with WagerBucks.